Well, a recent report has found health star ratings are missing on, about 2/3 of supermarket products that require them. According to research, the star system, introduced back in 2014 to improve Aussie diets, is working as a marketing tool, but not for its intended purpose, with the lack of labelling leaving consumers unable to make the best and healthiest food choices.
Well, for more, we're joined by journalists Natarsha Belling and Rob McKnight. Morning to you both. So, Rob, talk us through this. Do you think the star rating actually works to encourage healthier choices?
It could. It absolutely could. The problem here is one word: voluntary. OK, so when any organisation, any company does it voluntarily, you've got a problem. As we've seen in this research, they're now using it as a marketing tool. So, we've got a good star rating. Here's our 4 or 5 stars. But if we've got high sugars and all the bad things in there, we just won't mention it.
You're not seeing it on your family block of chocolate, are you?
No,
the
you're
star
not.
rating.
Like, let's get real. Unless the government make it mandatory, this is a waste of time. And just another one where Canberra bureaucrats can say, we've tried to fix it, we're trying to fix the problem. No, you're not. You're trying to look as though you're fixing the problem while kowtowing to big business.
Tash, we're currently in an obesity crisis. I mean, should this be more of a priority? Should it be mandatory?
It should be mandatory. I think Rob makes some great points.
Ring the bell.
Here, I know. The problem is the government is pretending they're doing something about it. Tick, 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 but it's actually not happening in real life. The other problem I've got here is labelling is incredibly confusing. When you're going to the supermarket, who has actually got time to sit there or stand there and go through all the details on the labelling? I think it's quite strategic by some companies to make it as complicated as possible.
My wife does it, though.
Oh, does she?
Not that you can tell from me, but she does do it. She looks for all the healthy things. She'll take the time, and I'm like, I can't be with her shopping because I'm like, boom, 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 get it, go. But she does exactly what you're saying, Tash.
I think what would be more beneficial is actually encouraging and subsidising school and local community sports programs, where people now, so many families can't afford to register their kids for club sports because rego costs are so expensive. Let's put it into healthy exercise programs for kids and support those families to have the opportunity for exercise, which is great not only for mental health but also physical health.
And is the print on those nutritional information getting smaller, or is it just me?
It's your eyes, Kylie. It's your eyes. Here you go.
You've got to put the block of chocolate out here now to read what
they've dramatically reduced the print.
Thank you. It's not
I think
me.
you need these.
You're right, but if you're serious about it, mandate it, right?
Yeah.
If the print was as big to read, though, they'd have big, enormous packaging. Moving on, a proposal to increase the length of off-street parking spaces to fit bigger cars is causing road rage. The call to add an extra 20 centimetres to standard spaces comes as supersized utes and cars spike in popularity, with SUVs making up over 70% of car sales last year. So you can understand why this is a problem. What do you reckon, Tash?
OK, so every car that's imported into the country has to actually meet, or ute or ram, meet very, very stringent safety and also legislation to make sure that they meet all the standard and safety
like emissions and stuff like that.
Yeah, but also that they meet Australian regulations for size and also, all of the other issues. The fact is, if they've got issues with the size of vehicles coming in, they should change the regulations so they aren't imported into the country to start with. I think, are we going to start calling out rams? Then we have to call out utes, then we have to call out vans. So for tradies, if they face regulations, that's not fair to people that own vans or utes that have the same regulations as bigger cars.
Rob, big car owners are called often obnoxious for their parking. Is this a legitimate solution, do you think, calling for an extra 20 centimetres in these spaces?
Here we go. This story is from a group of inner-city people, this time in Melbourne, who are just saying, those cars are too big to be here. The fact is, the car...
Is this you leaning back into the argument, Rob?
I'm just
really like this, when you're really sort of leaning into it.
I need a Bex and a good lie down for these idiots, right?
I think you do normally anyway.
Sorry?
I think you do normally anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But my problem here is that it's other people telling people how to live, and they make claims, little PPs and all that kind of stuff. I don't have a big car. I have a 4-wheel drive, a 7-seater, because I've got 3 kids, and that works for us. But my point here is that we can either say we don't want this, or we can actually look at the realisation of the situation and increase the car sizes, because the fact is, have you tried to park these days?
I know, it's
Even
really
if you've
hard.
got the smaller cars, it is a nightmare. You're getting out and you're like, I literally can't get out of my car because that car is bigger, and it's just the fact of life. If they're allowing these cars on the road, make the parking
But it's the
available.
developers. They have to meet some sort of regulation which says if you're going to build that shopping centre, you must supply 500 car parking spaces. So they make them so teeny tiny so that they can fit the requirements. Instead of making it, you know what, if we make them a decent size, we're only going to fit 375 spaces.
And one quick thing.
Yeah.
Should parents with prams be a thing?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
You're in strife here, Rob.
No. I see so many.
Parents with
You've
prams
got an
be a thing?
18-year-old son. You don't need parents with prams.
No, the legit people that need it.
When my kids were young, I loved it, but I didn't need it. I didn't need parents with prams
you know
parking.
What, you're going to begrudge them 4 spaces?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not 4 spaces
you are
anymore.
That guy. You are that guy.
But also with parking and vehicles, let's look at getting better public transport in cities across the country.
Yeah, 100%.
So then people don't have to rely on cars.
That's a good point, Tash. I want to ask you quickly. One couple have sparked a debate online explaining why they deliberately argue in front of their kids. In this TikTok that's reached 80,000 views, the mother of 4 is bickering with her husband while her daughter was in her arms, explaining that the pair choose to get heated in front of the kids to teach conflict resolution. Tash, is it ever okay?
Did you know there wasn't any audio on this video, so you can actually hear what they're arguing about? I think it's important to teach kids about conflict resolution because that's an issue you've got to deal with for the rest of your life. But arguing in front of your kids and then putting it online for people then to give you feedback, why not just have a discussion at home and not film it?
Yeah.
Because it's 2023.
Yeah, I just think conflict resolution is important, but not full-on arguments.
My kids
How
get
you
this.
argue.
My kids get this lesson all the time, unintentionally. Not that my wife would ever argue with me, but if on the rare occasion she does, the kids hear it. I'm not sure there's a resolution at the end of it, but this idea that we can have a respectful discussion. You know what? Sometimes there's passion in a marriage, and sometimes you have a go at each other, and sometimes the kids hear it.
Yeah. Like sort of towels left on the ground or stuff like that,
Or encountering a parent with a pram in a car seat.
You don't want to go for a drive with me, Matty.
Evidently
Or
not.
Tash, for that matter. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, so that's for another day. Thank you, guys. Soon for you. He's got one of the most famous mottos in rock